Tesfamicael Gerahtu, welcome back to Double Standards. Let's begin at the start of this story.
Afshin, thank you very much for inviting me again to your studio. There was no coup d'etat in Eritrea. In the real Eritrea, there was no coup d'etat. There was no movement of the army. There was no any instability at that time. It was a normal day. Of course, without the knowledge of the unit, a small army unit, without its knowledge, some 3-4 of its leaders took them to the station, and they told them to the TV station, and they told them that they will be guarding the television station. They didn't know anything. So, in the proper sense, there was no coup d'etat. It was not a movement of the army. And the best thing is that it was handled properly.
Well, they read out a statement, didn't they? One of the main presenters read out a statement on air on Eritrea, the Eritrean international television station.
Well, that didn't happen. And immediately, the whole television and radio station was technically shut once they knew that they were threatening them. So nothing has happened. I think there was no coup d'etat. The coup d'etat was not in the real Eritrea. The coup d'etat was in the image of those who wanted to see instability in Eritrea. And especially, this was made to spin by the corporate media, and with 3 aims. One was to wage psychological warfare on Eritrea and the Eritreans, and 2, a disinformation campaign so as to create chaos and disorientate the population, especially the Eritreans in the diaspora. And the third issue is, having failed with all the attempts made through various conspiracies and many other acts of instability, maybe this was thought to be a time through this small incident to break the resilience of the Eritrean people and the Eritrean government. And the second thing is that always try to threaten, especially Eritreans, through various means. And the third important thing is that do destructive things. The media is trying to reproduce this. And yes, we do have a good relation with Qatar. But Al Jazeera has been rampant in terms of trying to reproduce, multiply all this imaginary, virtual coup d'etat, which did not happen in Eritrea. The same with all the other corporate media. And that's why I always talk about alternative media reality, alternative media outside of the mainstream, so that the truth is reflected in a constructive way rather than destructive. But the point that you mentioned about Al Jazeera being banned in Eritrea, that's another lie. Because Al Jazeera has become a black spot now in terms of everybody who wants to know the truth.
Well, we don't want to cover that channel too much anyway. This is Press TV. But one thing, and the BBC was very, very quick to, I think it was the headline on the World Service News about an attempted coup. A lot about the imprisonment of journalists, activists, figures of 10,000 people. 10,000 Eritreans are basically in boxes being imprisoned. Well, how do you answer all those questions?
First of all, because of the nature of this small thing that happened, and which was not a coup d'etat, we never gave any information or any interviews on media. And I think I'm doing it with you now, even not to talk about it, but to talk in general about many other things, and especially the way the media is trying to play games in terms of reproducing this in a very destructive way. But to come back to your question, there's 10,000 political prisoners in Eritrea, let alone political from the United States and many others.
Well, these human rights groups then say, why can't you let them have access then to check it out for you instead of you checking it out?
Well, the thing is that those who have been imprisoned, the small number who have been imprisoned not because of reforms or political issues, but in matters related to national security during the war situation with Ethiopia. And that has not been settled up to now because Ethiopia, with the open support of the United States, continues to occupy our sovereign territories in defiance of the international law.
Is that the case with the Swedish journalist?
Yeah.
As well?
Yes, the same case.
President Obama's second term, Susan Rice couldn't get the Secretary of State's job. What are you holding out for in terms of hopes? Because as recently as, a year ago, there were signs of de facto Obama's troops on your Ethiopian border attacking your country.
Well, I don't know about the Obama troops at the border, but...
U.S.-backed troops, U.S.-backed Ethiopia.
Yeah, the United States has been backing Ethiopia in so many different ways. But the important thing is that, are we hopeful about the second term of Obama? We are always hopeful for the United States to take a sober position in terms of its relationship with Eritrea and the countries in the region for two reasons. One, Eritrea and the Eritrean people and the Eritrean government have never been enemies, or we never consider the United States as our enemy. Two, if the United States has been acting in the Horn of Africa in the way that it did, including trying to target Eritrea for the sake of strategic interests, no, that's not the way to promote the strategic interests of the United States.
Well, so that pressure is nevertheless on the nation of Eritrea, on personnel, people like you, the information minister, we heard, one of the big names of the Eritrean government in one sense. Where is he? Reports of his disappearance and defection. Are you worried about defections within your government?
Always there are defections from governments, from institutions, resignations, and so on, big or small, because the belief in Eritrea is struggle defected to Ethiopia, to Sudan, and Europe. Even after independence, many did that. So this is not something new. It will continue like that. I think if we rely on the power of the people, which we are doing, and which we will continue in the future, that's what nation building means.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for coming back on the show.
Thank you.